Hi there, it's Amy D with Amy D Coaching, and today I'm going to tackle a really big topic, which is online advertising. And where do I spend my online dollars? People ask me this question all the time, and I'm always like, ooh, I could talk for a week about that. So don't worry, I won't. I'm going to give you the high-level overview. Now, if you want to dive deeper into any of these, contact me for some one-on-one coaching or some of my courses, because I'm going to talk about 3 specific places that are really, really powerful. And each one of these I really can dive pretty deeply on. So first, I want you to think about your time-money ratio. Most realtors are in one of 2 camps. You're either closing a bunch of deals and you have no time for anything, but suddenly you're closing a bunch of deals, so you've got the money, you can afford to spend it, and you just don't know where. You just need, Amy, where do I spend my money, and then let me write the check. So some people are in that camp, and then other people are either newly started or just getting re-engaged, and you have a lot of time and no money until things start coming in. So, real estate's kind of feast or famine. So I've got some different online strategies for both, because there are some ways to advertise online that don't take very much money, but they take a lot of time. And then there's some that are like right there in between. So my 3 favorites are Zillow, Facebook, and Google AdWords. Biggest bang for your buck. So when people ask, should I do this or that? The answer is always yes. And when you're asking about, when you get those calls from people that go, oh, we're with such and such a news company, or we're going to get you on the first page of Google, the answer to that is always no. If I have to make a decision right now and I can't call you back and sign up later, no. So these 3, you can do them anytime. You can call them and proactively advertise. That's what you want. So Zillow is one of my all-time favorite companies. They have done so much for my business, and they do so much for us as realtors. If you haven't explored them, I would highly recommend. So first of all, whether you're in the feast or the famine, set up your free account on Zillow if you haven't already done so. This is something I feel like realtors should do right off the bat. Make sure you've got a great picture up there. When you're introduced to a new client, so even if your business is mostly by referral, a lot of times the first thing they do is Google you. And there are 2 things that will often come up as the first 2, and that's your Zillow profile and your Facebook profile. So you want to make sure both of those are strong, both of those are professional. Facebook, obviously, many people use it more personally. Make sure that you keep it, they just think that you don't want anything on your Facebook page that wouldn't be appropriate on someone's desk in an office. A lot of times on people's desks, they've got a lot of family photos and more personal stuff. It's not all business, but it's at a certain level. You might have pictures of a family vacation, but not out by the pool in your bathing suits, and not not completely drunk or hungover or partying. So keep that in mind for your Facebook profile, and for your and even if your Facebook profile is private, because remember, a lot of your referrals will come from people that you are friends with on Facebook. And if they've referred someone to you, they might be in your friends of friends list, so they might be able to see stuff that not everybody can see. So just keep that in mind in what you're posting online at all. So in terms of spending money, Zillow can seem expensive at first, and they do require a commitment. For me personally, I get an 8-time return on my investment with Zillow, and that's over the course of the past 18 months of tracking what I'm spending and how much is coming back. It actually, I think, was at 7.9, so not quite 8-time return. So while they do seem expensive at first and they do require a commitment, that is one of the most effective places to market. They have nailed the online advertising and the introduction of home buyers and sellers with realtors. They're very, very good at what they do. Now, on the less expensive side, a lot of times people like Facebook because they think it's free, and it's really not. There are some things to learn. If you want to do the organic Facebook and use your personal page, you need to understand things like edge rank and how Facebook determines what they're showing and to whom. Because if you've noticed on your page, you don't see everything that all of your friends post, and so there are some definite tricks to learn to how to kind of manipulate that and how to navigate that. And then Facebook also has business pages. And if you have set up a business page, you may have already noticed that when you post on there, people aren't seeing it unless you're paying for it. So you do still need to spend money on Facebook if you want this to be an effective tool. And while their advertising is less expensive, it's a lot more labor intensive. So it's going to take a lot more of your time. So I recommend that for people who are in the phase where you've got more time than money. If you've got more money than time, Zillow all the way. They will do everything for you if you spend enough with them, including call your clients. And I'm not kidding. They have a wonderful concierge service that I'm not going to get too deeply into. So the middle group where you're like, well, I'm not quite feasting, but I'm not quite famining either, to you, and actually to all three categories, Google AdWords. Google AdWords is a powerful, powerful tool. You can turn it on and off. You can set limits. Now, if you want to utilize Google AdWords, I highly recommend you become familiar with something called the long tail effect. And now this is, if you're familiar with like the way a bell curve works, where most stuff is, right in the middle, and then there are these tails. So with online advertising, there's something called the long tail, where the more specific things get, the fewer people are typing it in. And with real estate, sometimes those are your best leads. So for more information on any of these three things, on the Zillow concierge service, the Facebook business page, or the long tail in utilizing Google AdWords, you can contact me at info@amydcoaching.com.